Okie. Itamix Ganatani. Good morning. It is Sunday, the 29th of December, 2019. December's almost done. 2019's almost done. We're in the lunar cycle. Misamiko Komiato. It's the long night's moon. And we've woken up in San Francisco to a bit of rain. Well, not raining right now, but it did recently.
Yeah.
And we had plans this morning to meet some guys in the park for Tai Chi, push hands maybe, and we don't know whether those plans are gonna follow through now that it's wet out here. We're just going on a kind of a discovery walk to see if those guys are around. Whether or not they are, we'll get into something. So,
Yeah.
Starting our day. So this is kind of the area of the park where Darin and his group do their Tai Chi. None of his guys have shown up yet, but we're going to hang out here a little bit. See what happens.
So this garden is kind of special because there are these plaques, yeah?
Yeah.
And these are all quotes from Shakespeare.
It looks like Shakespeare.
And if you read the plaques,
But the bust didn't say the bronze copy of the cast made by George Bullock. Oh, it is a Shakespeare bust. Okay. I was thinking it was this George Bullock character, but
no, it's Shakespeare.
Mm.
And these plaques all have quotes from Shakespeare where he's talking about plants
uh-huh.
and qualities of plants and stuff. And in this garden here, the plants that Shakespeare speaks about have all been planted here.
Uh-huh.
So it's like a garden,
Little Shakespearean garden.
yeah, out of his writing.
That was a thing, for a while in the United States and in general in some of the larger cities, to create these kind of Shakespearean landscapes. So they were
Really?
importing the birds. Yeah, well, that's how the European starlings got here.
No kidding.
Yeah. Yeah, they imported like 50 of them to Central Park, and it took them about a decade to go all the way across the country and populate everywhere.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's kind of a cool thing because first of all, there's poetry here,
Mm-hmm.
and it's poetry around nature, about nature. Although it's actually about human, qualities that human beings have, right? But using plants to evoke those qualities, which is kind of cool. But the garden is very beautiful, and it's a pretty quiet spot, and it's perfect to practice Tai Chi because, you're not on display, right?
Garden of Shakespeare's Flowers, 1928.
Oh yeah, those are the showing bees. Showing bees, you gotta split them up, open it up.
So Tai Chi didn't happen, and we ended up going and having breakfast at a little place called Arts Cafe, which is just a small little breakfast place, but really nice kind of local neighborhood flavor. And now we're here at a kind of a farmer's market where Darin is picking up some cauliflower. We're going to head back to his pad, figure out next steps from there. Asian pears, what are these? Fuyu. Personal. There's fruits here that I don't know at all. Let's go see where Darin is.
Next in line.
That's it. That's all I see. Ah,
Jenny, it sounds like you work at Ross.
eagle eye.
Next in line.
Ladies are checking you out, bro.
They just curious about the camera.
Oh, it could be true.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's not the only thing going on, because I see them checking you out when you don't have a camera.
Nah, it doesn't happen.
They wait, no, you don't understand about women. Well, I mean, you probably do, but women don't want to be seen checking. So they wait till you're not looking.
Yeah, I don't know.
Really good at that shit. I mean, they're like,
I'm dressed funny, I'm talking to myself, and I'm turning the camera.
okay,
You know?
yeah. Yeah. Get it. So this is the San Francisco League of Urban Gardeners Garden, and it's an educational project. It's not quite as beautiful as it often is right now because they've taken out all of the stuff that usually lives right here. And this is for me a ceremonial place where I do ceremonies. They have a lot of vegetables growing here and herbs. I used to hunt flies and insects here for my praying mantises many years ago. So I know this garden really well because I used to come here to find things for them to eat, capture things for them to eat. The skunks are very happy here. They come here every night. There's probably lots of little mice and rats. And this is the only place in San Francisco that I've ever seen a snake. It was many, many years ago. There used to be a cat, Mr. Fuzzy, very sweet old cat, used to come through here a lot. There's probably feral cats too. They come through here, but I haven't seen any in a long time. There's some beehives. I'll point those out when we get near to them. This Bergamensia is absolutely incredible to smell at night. Its fragrance is just insanely powerful. Can't smell it a whole bunch in the daytime. There's been, some controversy about this plant in South America. They think that people can make, knockout drug from this. But there's been no validation of this idea. And these Bergamensias are all over the place here. There's a lot of them. This is a really old, beautiful one. There's more than one here in the garden.
Do people, I keep seeing this, do people go through the trouble to bag their dog poop and then just drop it?
Yeah, that's hugely common. I mean, look, probably 80-85% of the dog owners are pretty responsible here because it's a law and, they've learned to do that. But a lot of people aren't really very responsible and they'll bag it up but just leave it, somewhere on the corner or wherever they happen to be. Sometimes that's accidental, right? They might be carrying 2 or 3 sacks and just one slips out. Sometimes not.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Yeah,
this is a common thing.
they're trapping here. Yeah.
Yeah, except I don't really know if they're trapping anything. I'm guessing. So this says non-toxic rodent monitoring bait, but they can have D-Track rodenticide, Fast Track all weather biocide, a lot of these are poison boxes.
Right.
And that's a huge problem because we have raptors and coyotes here. And of course, you know, a rat that is sick or not, you know, fully capable of trying to evade the predators is going to get eaten.
Yeah.
Right? And if it doesn't get eaten by the predators, it'll get eaten by scavengers. So those things kill our rodent populations. One of the plants that I love here a lot is the coyote mint, particularly. They call it coyote mint. It doesn't look like there's any growing here right now. This is, they call coyote brush. Yeah, that's not the mint. Here's the creeping sage. There's a nice scent. A little bit of a nice scent in here. Oh yeah, this is nice. I'm very fond of sage in general. The coyote mint is one of the non-sage plants that I really like. I think there is a tiny bit right here. Maybe. Yep. Oh, what an incredible smell. Really fragrant. I'm a big fan of that stuff. Yeah. Monardella villosa. Yeah, it's really fragrant. It smells sort of like a cross between sage and lavender. So this is a teaching garden. Yeah, people come over here to learn how to garden. And it's a really cool thing. It's been here for a long time. It's a venerable place. They've done a lot of winter trimming lately, some of which I think is stupid. I don't really understand why there's any reason to trim back this. Like, here's another incredible Bruggemansia, right? And these are also, you can't really smell anything at all right now, but at night this would be very fragrant. Also called the devil's trumpet. This is one of my friendly white sage plants, but this thing was just incredibly huge, and they cut it all back for no reason that I can understand. It just seems wrong to me. I love this plant. It's a beautiful white sage plant. And it's a pretty old plant. It's at least probably 15, 20 years old. And this tree we're lucky to have, it's very old. I don't know what it is. But this is one of the older garden denizens. It's nice that it's still alive. And this, if you give this a little rub, you get some nice fragrance from that geranium.
Yeah, it's geranium, eh?
Yeah.
Oh yes. Whew. That's strong.
Yeah. Good stuff. This is nasturtium down here. These have a really pretty little delicate orange flower through almost all the time through the year. Here's more of them down here.
This is the one you were telling me tastes like wasabi, eh?
Yeah, the flowers, people use them in salad and they're really delicious. They taste a lot like wasabi. And this I introduced you to yesterday. This is borage, which is a nutritious plant that you can eat the flowers of, and you can eat the little pods. And they have a kind of an oily taste. And of course, let's see, this is a night blooming jasmine, which right now has no flowers, but makes an incredible nighttime scent. You know, the plants like the Bruggemansia and the jasmine would ordinarily be pollinated at night, you know, in their native places. Here's some rosemary. A really nice scent on that. And this is another really old, look how old this rosemary tree is, right? This thing's been here a good 20 or 30 years. The moths in here are one of the night pollinators that I see when I come here at night. And there's often quite a number of them. They grow lettuces in these raised beds primarily to keep them away from snails.
Oh yeah.
Makes it hard for the snails to get to them. And most of these other beds usually have herbs. Herbs. And all of the food that they grow here is donated to the homeless people. So they ask that people not, eat the food. And this is one of 2 nearby gardens. We're going to get to the other one here in just a minute. So here are some not yet ripe blueberries.
Oh yeah.
And I occasionally come through here and I don't harvest them, but I'll, I'll pick a couple of blueberries and eat them because it's a wonderful thing to taste a wild blueberry.
Right.
This looks like sage, but I don't know if it is. I can't really tell. Some strawberries, blueberries. It's interesting that, these blueberries, the plants are producing berries in the winter. And they used to have some unusual fruits up here, and also some artichokes and stuff.
Yeah.
You can see there's ground cherries,
Yeah.
which I don't even know. I don't know what a ground cherry even is.
I don't know. I know what a ground plum is.
Really? I've never seen anything like that. Here's some sorrel, some hydrangea.
A lot of strawberries.
Yeah. Artichoke, but can't really see any at the moment. They're not growing. Oh, these little white flowers here, and also the calla lilies a little bit. In the springtime, one of the things I discovered here that's really amazing is on these little white flowers you get the exotic white crab spiders with the great big white abdomen and the pink stripe on it. And they can change color. They can adopt the color of whatever they're on, but most of the time they're on the daisies, so they're white. But I love them, and that's an ambush predator that lives here that I really think is beautiful. The females are gigantic compared to the males. They're really hard to see. If you don't know what you're looking for, you will not see them. And they have incredible eyesight, so they can see you coming from far, far away, and they'll hide underneath the flower most of the time. So, we can walk around this little part too, see what's going on in here. These are mostly ground cover plants in this part. Some succulents. There used to be a gazebo here until not very long ago. I'm not sure why they tore it down. It used to sort of cover the central area, and it was rather large, and it was a shelter. Maybe people were sleeping in it.
Oh yeah.
Where I saw the snake was like right over there. I saw a little neonate one day. Only snake I've ever seen in 30 years of being here.
A little neonate, probably. There's a garter den not too far.
Yeah, that'd be a good guess at its species. Garter snake, probably. So this mountain up here, on which Sutro Tower is, it's owned by UCSF. And there was a guy for a while who used to be built kind of a little sheltery house over by White Crane Garden. And when he got evicted from there, he went up there and built a sort of self-made cabin up in there. And he might still be there. I'm not sure what became of him. But he was kind of an important cat because he was living kind of on his own terms, right? And he found a place where he could just make, a little cabin out of logs and stuff and live in there. And then when they pushed him out of here, he went up on the mountainside. And I'm pretty sure they came after him up there eventually. So I don't know what became of him. But he was sort of living wild here and building, like, kind of built his own house, essentially. Cabin anyway. Little cabin. There's a lot of hawks, owls. There's great horned owls. There's barn owls. There's red-tailed hawks, Cooper's hawks, kestrel. Occasionally I've seen a kestrel in my neighborhood for many years. It's a very uncommon sight, but I get excited when I see it because I love this bird. One day when I was talking with my father about some trouble in our family, the bird was sitting on top of a telephone pole doing something. It took me a while to figure out that it had got a hold of a wasp nest and brought it up to the top of that telephone pole and seemed to be just relishing eating the wasps. And it was clearly getting stung.
Yeah.
In the face, but it didn't. That was like, hot peppers or something for that bird. It was like, nom, 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 nom. And it really seemed happy to be having that meal, even though it was, for a human, if you're getting stung in the face by wasps, that's not exactly delicious.
Yeah.
But for the kestrel, it seemed quite at home with that, yeah. And I'm not sure if it was just eating the larva or if it was eating the wasps too or what, but that really impressed me. It really impressed me, the power of that bird. So this big lot is owned by some family. And it's one of the only open spaces anywhere near here. Obviously people walk their dogs here, but it's been here a long time, and either the people who own it, I don't know who actually owns it, but in the various seasons you get this is where they'll set up to like sell pumpkins at Halloween, and there's a Christmas tree farm at Christmas generally, and it's a big deal. Like, they put a huge pumpkin thing in here.
That's cool.
And a great big Christmas tree thing.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look like they've been here, because they should have been here real recently, and there's no...
Yeah, the Christmas tree thing should have been...
there's no evidence that they were here this year. Also, last year there was a bunch of pipes and construction equipment here. And it's very weird to have this big open space like this, because land here is so valuable. Like, you could build, $1 million homes here, you could build an apartment complex here. So it's weird. I don't really understand why the space is kept open for so many years, and it's been like this for a good 20 or 30 years. Back in there is where the guy first built his little sort of shelter, and he would get water out of this garden. And of course, now this is a garden where community people can apply to have plots to grow food. So they obviously they want to, it's not really well controlled, but they want to keep people from coming in here and harvesting other people's food.
Right.
And they don't want, dogs in here much, and they don't want people camping here, because otherwise they probably would, right? It's an enclosed space. You could set up in here, and there's a lot of homeless people here, and they all need somewhere to sleep.
Yeah.
And they want somewhere safe. So yeah, this is White Crane Garden. It's another place where, I do ceremonies sometimes because I want to do them outside, and I like the spirit of the garden. And this has a lot of venerable old stuff going on here. I don't think the beehives are doing very well, but this is one of the places where I first noticed the bees were dying off, like something was killing them, right? Because I would come here and look at the beehives, and there'd be 50, 60,000 dead bees on the ground in front of the hives. And that does not make sense,
Yeah.
I watched them for many years, so they were very healthy. But eventually, they started dying, and you started seeing evidence of varroa and you know, bees that yeah, there's like no hives here now. There used to be probably 16 boxes here,
Wow.
and now there's just this one. And probably the reason why there's no hives is, you know, the bees can't survive. They're not surviving. The 2 hives in the park both seem to be dead, and those are wild hives that have been there for... There've always been hives in those spots for 20, 30 years. Now I can see a little activity in here. But you can also see, like,
Oh yeah, there's a...
like this is a problem, right? Because what is this? What is this? These are dead. These are bee carcasses. Yeah, all this down here.
Really? That's
Well-
all dead bees?
I'm not sure actually what that is. I've not seen material like that. It doesn't look right though.
No, it looks exoskeleton-y.
Yeah, it does. It looks wrong. Something's wrong here.
Yeah, I think you're right. Maybe. Yeah?
Yeah. So these were all dead bees.
That's crazy.
And you can see that material's coming out of the hive. And by the way, I have never seen this, right?
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like this.
Oh, just today is your first
This is the first time I've seen this.
sighting of the carcasses.
No, I've seen carcasses, but this is weird. This is like carcasses that are falling apart. It's like post-carcass remains.
Yeah.
And you can see that that junk is falling out of the hive.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
I've never seen that anywhere. That's something that's totally new. I've never seen. There used to be some weird citrus trees here that very occasionally produced fruit, but this wasn't a good environment for them. And then this is this is one way to begin to get up into the largely, like, this part is not eucalyptus. Yeah, this is a place where I think mostly homeless people would come. Though sometimes families might hang out here in the daytime.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the entrance to the mountain where Sutro Tower is, and it's, although there's other kinds of trees here, primarily the mountain is covered with eucalyptus.
But these are not eucalyptus we're
No,
looking
no,
at. This
these
is
are
some kind of fir.
Some kind of evergreen trees,
Oh, yeah.
primarily.
Yeah.
I don't know, you know, why. Usually when you come here, oh yeah, there's one. There's like no trespassing signs all over,
Uh-huh.
right? There's one up there to they want to keep people from going up in there.
It's very blackberry overgrown anyway.
Yeah.
Like, if there's not trails, you're not getting up through there, you know?
Yeah, I think there are.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see this trail here probably goes. I think you could get up in there.
Yeah.
I used to climb right up the side of the mountain back when I was in better shape. Over near where I live, there's a place you could just scale right up the side and then get up into the forest and climb around up there. This is mostly composty stuff. It's really nice to have these gardens here, especially, you know, where people who live nearby or live in the city can grow food. It's not huge plots, but you can grow, you know, strawberries. Oh, these. Okay, so these are a salvia that you can get some nectar usually out of this. I don't know if you want to try that. See if you can get anything at all.
Little bit.
A little bit. I mean, on a wet day like this, it's kind of tough because you get a lot more nectar when it's sunny. But yeah, I got just a tiny bit. But this is a kind of plant. This will give you more nectar than a honeysuckle will. And there's all different varieties of this kind of salvia that you can get some nectar out of. I'm interested in plants that humans can get nectar out of, and I've watched the hummingbirds to learn about this. And one of the things that really surprised me about the hummingbirds is they taught me that plants, all kinds of different plants that don't have flowers, produce nectar. Often at the joints where branches diverge, or at a joint where leaves diverge. All kinds of plants produce nectar, and the hummingbirds and bees are both aware of this, but the humans don't seem to know. I never realized that. I find that very surprising. And the hummingbirds know when. They know like what the sort of clock of the day is when they can get those little droplets of nectar, which I presume must be incredibly medicinal and nourishing. I suspect the hummingbirds are masters of understanding what the humans might confusedly, half intelligently think of as the pharmacopoeia of the plants. I think the hummingbirds really know what's going on with that, and the bees know quite a bit about it too. Here's another geranium, probably different scent. See what's going on with this one. Oh yeah, this is more of like a kind of an oregano.
We have to try we got a native like purple sticky geranium. I've never just rubbed its leaves and smelled it.
Yeah, the geraniums are incredible. Incredible. This is very old. I mean, you know, well, for around here, I'm sure this garden's been here at least 50 years. That tree is gorgeous. I love that little, I don't know if it's a willow or what. And I've had a few encounters with wildlife here. I met an old blind gopher that I loved and used to bring him little pieces of carrot and stuff until he passed away. He was awesome. That guy was really something.